So let's get into some more stuff. Where let's stay in the Marvel world, rocks, because Kevin Feige said some things. You just mentioned Captain America before, and so Kevin Feige says the following here. Kevin Feige says or believes that Captain America: Brave New World underperformed because it didn't feature Chris Evans. Says Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige has reflected on Captain America: Brave New World's negative reviews and poor box office performance, sharing his belief that the movie struggled without Chris Evans. Captain America: Brave New World opened earlier this year to 46% on Rotten Tomatoes and ended its run at the global box office with a disappointing $415 million. Movie got caught up in 2023's Hollywood strikes, but was also heavily reshot. All of the leaders' scenes were scrapped. The final battle removed Isaiah Bradley and Sabra, and Giancarlo Esposito's Sidewinder replaced the Serpent Society. Marvel Studios clearly attempted to fix a movie that wasn't working, but the result was one of the studio's biggest letdowns. Where did it all go wrong for Captain America: Brave New World? Well, according to Kevin Feige, the movie didn't work because it was the first without Chris Evans. Anthony Mackie led the cast as Sam Wilson. The MCU's new Captain America Avengers Endgame ended with Steve Rogers presenting the former Falcon with the shield, but that was 6 years ago, and Marvel Studios decided to explore his transformation into the new Captain America in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. With the benefit of hindsight, it would have been a wise move for a new Captain America movie to be released in 2021, chronicling Sam's evolution into the Star-Spangled Superhero. Marvel Studios was under mandate to create new streaming content, though, so it is what it is. As we reported yesterday, Feige has also weighed in on why Thunderbolts similarly underperformed. The Thunderbolts was a very good movie, but nobody knew that title, and many of those characters were from shows. There was the residual effect of audiences going, I guess I had to have seen the other shows to understand who this is. Moving forward, Marvel Studios will release one TV show per year, and it won't be so closely connected to what happens in theaters. While the shows will be there for fans and non-fans alike to enjoy, it seems the goal is to make it so the MCU no longer feels like homework. In Captain America: Brave New World, after meeting with newly elected U.S. President Thaddeus Ross, played by Harrison Ford in the MCU, Sam Wilson finds himself in the middle of an international incident. He must discover the reason behind a nefarious global plot before the true mastermind has the entire world seeing red. Clever. Okay. What do you make of these comments, Roxy? Do you agree about the Chris Evans of it all?
I mean, would the movie have done better if Chris Evans was in it? Yes, because Chris Evans was the established Captain America. Chris Evans is a bigger household name than Anthony Mackie, and the other Captain America movies did do better. Do I think that that's why this movie didn't do well? No. I think that this movie didn't do well for a lot of other reasons, like probably 15 other reasons.
Right.
One of them is the fact that they, as they reference in this article, even for somebody who liked it, like myself, it was glued together in a way that didn't always work.
Yeah.
And some of it looked egregiously bad.
Yeah.
Some of the character choice, the reason I still liked the movie, again, didn't love, but liked, is because unlike you, I loved Falcon, and I know that you didn't.
Oh, Danny Ramirez.
Yeah. I loved his performance, and I loved his chemistry with Cap, and I liked a lot of the themes that they laid out. Do I think that they executed on all of their promises? No, but I liked what they were attempting to do enough that I liked the movie.
Yeah.
That's not how a lot of people watch movies.
Right.
A lot of people watch movies, and if it's not 100% cohesive, and if they are not attached to the main character and they don't like the sidekick, then they don't like the movie, and that's a perfectly fine thing. So I think it's I don't want to say it's a cop-out answer, because I really like Kevin Feige and I understand where he's coming from with this, but it's a little bit convenient to be able to say, like, oh yeah, the reason this didn't perform is because Chris Evans wasn't in it. And it's like, and other things, bro.
Right. I agree. It was a factor. It wasn't the factor. Like, there are a lot of other things involved. And I think that comic book movie hit the nail on the head. I think the movie should have come out, one of two things. It either should have come out in 2021 right after the series, or it should have been a streaming movie. If, and maybe just made it for, I don't know why they don't do streaming movies and they just do these series. They should do
the money.
Star Wars is the same thing. What?
They don't have a direct way to make back if they're going to cost that much money. You know, if it's going to be a streaming movie, they would have had to been under a 70 million movie. So,
But what's the difference between that and making a 6 episode or 7 episode series for that kind of money? If you're spending 100 or 230, I'm throwing to Star Wars here, but if you're spending $230 million on the Acolyte, why not just spend 150 and make a streaming movie? Oh man, I'm so glad to finally talk to you guys about Cash App. I've been using Cash App forever, and now I get to talk to you guys about it. Don't worry, it's very easy, fast to sign up. Do you even know how much interest your money is earning you in your bank account right now? Well, let me tell you some stuff. Cash App can do way more than you think to make your money work for you. If you direct deposit at least $300 in paychecks each month and use the Cash App card for purchases, you can earn up to 4% annual interest on your savings. There's no hidden fees, no minimum balance requirements. Also, you can hit your saving goals even faster by turning on the Roundups feature on your Cash App card. With Roundups, every purchase you make using the card is rounded up to the nearest dollar, and that spare change is automatically put into your savings. Don't let your money sit around and gather dust. Make it work for you. Take advantage of high interest savings on Cash App today. For a limited time only, new Cash App customers can use our exclusive code and earn some additional cash. For real, just download the Cash App, use our exclusive referral code, Kristian, in your profile, send $5 to a friend. Within 14 days, you're going to get $10 dropped right into your account. Terms apply. That's money. That's Cash App. Cash App is a financial service platform, not a bank. Banking services provided by Cash App's bank partner. Prepaid debit cards issued by Sutton Bank, members FDIC, direct deposit, roundups, overdraft coverage, and discounts provided by Cash App, a Block Inc. brand. Visit cash.app/legal/podcast for full disclosure.
I would think, Kristian, that the answer to that is like repeat viewing, because you're getting 6 weeks of people coming back to your platform as opposed to one time. I'm not sure.
Unless you dump it, but you're not wrong.
Yeah. Unless you dump it.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure. I don't think any of us still are about how these streaming platforms actually make their money. But I do think that TV would be more lucrative for them for that reason.
Rock, I mean, you're the Netflix connoisseur. You look at Netflix, look what they do with their movies. You know, look at Happy Gilmore is made just for Netflix. They make tons of movies just for Netflix.
But I don't know what the budget of Happy Gilmore 2 is. I would have to assume it's less than that.
Less than $200 million yet.
Yeah,
definitely.
But then again, there was the Rock movie that was made for streaming. Yeah. That was 250 mil.
Oh, totally. There's tons of movies that the budgets are insane, and I think that you're going to even see less of that stuff now anyway because of streaming and what Bob Iger, what he has done. He's doing it twice. You see with Moana, which was the smart play. I think it made $1 billion. Moana 2, and they were going to make that a series. Instead, they said no, turn that series into a movie, please. And they did, and made $1 billion doing it, or at least close to it. And they're doing the same thing with Mandalorian and Grogu.
Mm-hmm.
It's supposed to be a series of television. They said no, make that a movie, please. And that's what they're doing with that. So you're going to see less and less of that stuff.
What do you think this means for the future of Anthony Mackie in Marvel?
I think he's going to have a pretty decent role in the Avengers. But the question is he going to lead the Avengers? Because now there's the rumors that Pedro Pascal is going to lead the Avengers, right? So is that the case? Roke and I were talking about this yesterday, where we're using the kind of wrestling analogies. And I guess you'd know him too because of Schmodown analogies. You know, it's the same type of thing. It's like when certain person is over with the fans, you give them a shot and you see, and then it's like, okay, you get a shot at the title. In the case of the Schmodowns, like if you were good enough and you won the title, but it's like in wrestling, it's like, okay, we'll put the title on. And Roka used Jey Uso as an example. Great, people love him. People love him in the crowd. He wins the title. People just didn't embrace him as the champion. Didn't work out. Loses the title because you got to that point, but when it came to carrying it, you just couldn't get past that part. And that is essentially what happened with Anthony Mackie.
Yeah, there's a sentence that my mentor always says to me: "What gets you to Egypt doesn't necessarily get you to the promised land." And
right.
I think that that's exactly what happened here. We always go to analogies like that. I understand your wrestling one, but I think about sports analogies too. When I was hearing Kevin Feige say this didn't work because Chris Evans wasn't in it, and you think to yourself, it's like when you lose a game because somebody misses a layup at the end, and it's like, and they're like, oh, this didn't work because blah blah missed the shot, and it's like, or any other shot that anybody missed
Right.
throughout the entire game.
Right.
We just focused on that one shot because it was the last one, because it was the easiest one to blame, right? So I do think that pinning that on that. Do you think that there's any world in which this was a tactic from Feige to be like, "Hello, Chris"?
I think they've already been talking, especially with
RDJ.
well, but Secret Wars coming out. Secret Wars is going to be like the most expensive freaking Marvel movie of all time, and it's going to bring back everybody and their mother. It's like and especially after seeing what they can do and the scale of what they did in that movie last night with Fantastic Four. It's the first time I've actually been excited to see where this thing goes in quite a while. Like every other movie, even Thunderbolts, which I liked, the post-credit scene was cool. Like, okay, what's that going to be? Oh, that'll psych you up for the next movie that you're going to say. Okay, great. But then the movie itself, it didn't really that's not necessarily true. It did put things into motion because of the new Avengers and who they are and how they're going to get involved. But as far as like what's coming next, I wasn't like, oh, what's the next? I can't wait. Fantastic Four got me there. I'm like, oh, especially after like one of the post-credit scenes. I'm like, how's that going to play into this?
Yeah, I hear you on that.
Yeah.
I feel like Thunderbolts really got me excited about Yelena.
Yeah.
And so many different things. I really enjoyed the movie. But I was like, okay, there are characters that I really care about moving forward in MCU. But what was interesting about this movie was that I cared about all four of them. Johnny was probably my standout. I loved him. I just think that he did such a great job, but I care about all four of them so intensely. And I think that the future of the MCU is safer in their hands, which is a nice feeling. And I didn't necessarily feel that way after Thunderbolts. I liked a lot of the characters, but I wasn't like, ooh, yes, these are the people moving forward that I hope we follow every one of these and that this is our core.
Yeah, I felt that way more with Fantastic Four for sure.
Mm-hmm. Was there one of the four that was the weakest to you?
No, I don't want to single anybody out and say that because I don't think, I mean, I would like to see what they're going to do more so with Ben and Johnny. I think that Sue and Reed certainly were more developed, and I liked how, very similar to Superman, they just throw you into, this is the world that we live in. They're established, they're beloved, they've been doing this for 4 years, and I really dug that. So we'll see how that, ultimately develops more of the characters, even to certain things because Johnny, for me, at one point, I'm like, where are we going to go with Johnny? And then Johnny has an arc. He's got a thing that he's got to do. So I really dug that. So no, I didn't really think that anybody was weak. I thought they all worked pretty well.
That's a good feeling.
Yeah. Did you?
Yeah. I thought they were all.
You thought they were all excellent. You didn't think anybody was weak?
No one. I think that the least developed was Ben. Because I think that they are saving
I agree.
how he's been impacted for future.
Yep.
I'll just kind of leave it about that. But I thought that they used the right amount in this.
Yeah. And interesting. I'll tell you who was interesting that she took this role, because it was a very small role, was Natasha Lyonne.
Yeah.
Like, she, considering how like she's had this kind of resurgence over the last couple of years, it seemed like a role that you would have given someone less established, to be honest. That was one of the gripes I definitely had. They used her. I thought she was good for what
about the future?
That is exactly right. Like, that's exactly right. Like, how's that going to play out moving forward? And maybe that's why you get an actress like her, and you could be 100%.
I think you say to her, hey, you're very minimal in this movie.
Right.
We have thoughts and plans. Do you want to do this?
Yeah, this is where, if it does well and we do a second one, this is what happens with your character.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah. Also, nothing for nothing.
Not for nothing.
Not for nothing.
Right. Nothing for nothing. I thought it was not for nothing. Who cares?
No, yeah, not for nothing does sound right. Really cool to see, and I'm sure in the comments, but I don't care. Really cool to see Jewish representation on screen in the last couple of.
Isn't Ben Grimm Jewish?
Yep, Ben Grimm's Jewish, played by Eben Moss-Bachrach, who's Jewish. Superman, created by Jewish people, played by a Jewish actor. Just a lot of, and there's a very specifically in this movie Jewish moment
Yeah, well, they stuck with exactly what Kirby did back in the 60s, 70s, and brought that in there. So
And I get very excited to see Jews in mainstream media in ways that they're depicted like normal people.
mhm,
Not that Ben Grimm's a normal person, but I just mean like
what you mean? Yeah,
just American Jews. And so that was I thought that it's cool to hear that.
yeah.
See that this year for comic book movies.
Yeah, I would tell you. You asked me earlier about the Fantastic Four and being a fan. It's like the stuff that I remember, and this, whether it was on animated shows or anything like comic books or them showing up, it seemed super comic accurate. It really did. It seemed like the stuff that I was like, oh, we haven't really seen them work like this before. But anyway, different topic altogether. The other thing I was going to tell you before we move on from this Kevin Feige thing is Kevin Feige said a lot of things that was like, well, I don't know if that's true. Do you see the other? Roke and I talked about this briefly. Do you see the comments he made about Kang? He
No,
said,
I say okay.
he essentially said that they were planning on shifting away from Kang before Ant-Man 3. And it's like, well, why'd you show that end credit scene? If
That can't be accurate.
it can't be. It can't be. I mean, why
That might honestly be for legal purposes, Christian.
maybe, but he didn't even mention Jonathan Major's name. He said like that actor. I thought he handled it pretty poorly, to be honest with you.
It really might be for legal purposes.
Maybe he's full of
Probably
shit.
being highly coached on what he is allowed to and not allowed to say.
Yeah, I think he's full of it. So and it's so funny because Ant-Man and Quantumania, we just did that the rewatch. Well, I did the rewatch, Sam watched it for the first time the other day too. And it's funny because I still like the swings that they took with that movie. I like the idea that they went.
I liked that movie.
I like the fact that they went for this science fiction feel. But I remember when I saw it, I was just like, "There's gonna be a lot of people who do not like this movie." I don't feel that way with Fantastic Four. I think Fantastic Four people are gonna love it. The Quantumania that was, and rewatching it, there's some really stupid shit going on in that movie.
Is there a Marvel movie that you really don't like?
Yes, the two that I really don't like, I just watched them again. The two that they bounce back and forth as far as the worst ones, and that's Thor: Love and Thunder and the Marvels. Those are the two worst. We just watched the Marvels the other day.
You think that the Thor: Love and Thunder is worse than Thor 2?
Yes, way worse than Thor 2.
Wow,
Way worse than Thor
Dark
2.
World.
Yeah, way. I mean, the villain's not great in Thor 2, but they still take Thor's like an actual character in Thor 2. He's like a real character. He's not a Saturday Night Live goofy idiot. So.
Very interesting, Christian. Very interesting.
Yeah, well, you don't feel that way. You like that piss box?
No.
Oh, okay.
I just think that Thor 2 is like really bad.
Wow, I've watched that one quite a few times. I don't mind Thor 2.
I've only seen it twice.
Yeah,
The second time was worse than the first.
Yeah, I liked Dark
World. Really, really did not like that movie. But I think that the movies I like the least are the Doctor Strange movies.
I know, that's so funny. Like, because the second movie I'm not a fan of, but the first one I like a lot.
I don't like his character, so it's hard to like the movie. Yeah,
you just don't find him as charming. He's like a least. I think you said this before, like less charming Tony Stark, right?
Kind of. But like, and like just his arrogance doesn't work with. And I love that actor, but just oof.
Fair enough. What do you guys think of the comments made by Kevin Feige? What do you think? Whether it's about the Anthony Mackie stuff, whether it's about the Kang stuff, damage control, or just saying, hey, look, we're making changes. Put your thoughts in there. Let us know.